Good evening and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And as always, we're back with another massive show to bring you guys this evening. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. So on the show this evening, we're going to be talking a little bit about a story that's come out in the last hour or so saying that an emergency meeting has been held at Carrington yesterday. We will of course cover that. We'll also be talking a bit about Jadon Sancho and about a new winger who Manchester United are reportedly scouting ahead of the January transfer window. We'll be talking a bit about the game, of course, tomorrow against Bayern Munich. We've got some injury news to bring you for both Bayern side and Manchester United side, so we'll be talking about that. A couple of other bits to get into as well, so do get involved in the live chat, get involved in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on everything that we discuss on the show today. What should we start with today then? Let's start off with this emergency meeting then, shall we? So this story is coming out from a journalist in the UK in the last hour, and they are reporting that Richard Arnold held an extraordinary meeting on Monday to address staff unhappiness over a variety of issues this season, including the handling of Mason Greenwood and Anthony. Now, this was believed to have taken place at Carrington yesterday, and as the statement I just read out says, it was to do with all of the off-field issues that have happened since the beginning of the season. Obviously, the Mason Greenwood situation, whatever your stance is on Mason Greenwood, obviously, I think we can all agree that it was handled absolutely terribly. Obviously, the Anthony situation that's unravelled now as well, people are unhappy about that. I'm sure the people who work at Carrington and all the rest of it are worried about what's going to happen if new owners come in and their job's going to be secure. There's so much uncertainty around the club at the moment that I don't blame the people who work for Manchester United. You know, we're talking about the people who were, the chefs and stuff at Carrington, the PR people, the marketing people, all the people that actually make the behind the scenes stuff happen. They're obviously not happy, and an emergency meeting was held yesterday with Richard Arnold. Obviously, we don't know what the outcome of this meeting was. I mean, it must have been a difficult conversation for him to have, because they will all be looking at him and saying everything that's happened this season has been handled terribly. And what can he really say? Can he really disagree with that? I mean, Richard Arnold wanted to bring back Mason Greenwood. It was leaked to the press, and then 24 hours later, they're not bringing back Mason Greenwood. I mean, if you work for Manchester United, how do you have any faith in the people above you if they make a decision and then under a little bit of pressure from the media, they change their mind? And the fact that none of those people were, consulted on that decision, I think is fine. I don't think they should be, but for them now to, change their decision based on media outbreak is obviously going to upset those people as well, because they'll say, well, you didn't ask us, you didn't care what our opinion was, and you've just gone and, done it and then changed your mind. So I get it. Let me know what your thoughts are on that one. Just to be very, very clear, as it stands, as of today, Erik ten Hag's job at Manchester United is safe. So anybody who is worried about the future of Erik ten Hag, don't be. Apparently his job is safe at the moment. Obviously, I don't know what will happen if, we lose the next few games. Things can change very quickly in football. The same journalist says Richard Arnold has told Manchester United staff that the summer recruitment will eventually be proved correct and that there is still confidence in Erik ten Hag. So this was all part of the conversation at yesterday's emergency meeting with the staff at Carrington. And ultimately, it was a vote of confidence from the powers that be at Manchester United, if you like, that they do have confidence in Erik ten Hag and that he will, he'll be here for at least the foreseeable future. Whether if he loses the next 10 games, I assume he'll probably get sacked, wouldn't he? But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Let me know what your thoughts are on everything to do with this topic. Do you think Erik ten Hag's job's safe? I think it is. I think that he's earned, our respect after what he achieved last year. The story also says, this has come from Fabrizio, he says, the feeling among people close to Manchester United is that Erik ten Hag is not the problem at the club. Extra sporting matters, injuries and the sale process are what pose problems for the day-to-day work. And I 100% agree with that. And I think that anybody who points the the finger at Erik ten Hag is just looking for an easy way out. And I don't believe in it personally. Gary Neville has also chimed in on this situation. He says, there is no Manchester United fan I know that has got a brain that is most angry with Erik ten Hag. What they want really is a change of ownership, and they want stability, and they want a group of players that are committed. And I don't think the players aren't committed. I just wonder how good they are. That is my concern. So, I mean, I don't really agree with Gary Neville to say that there's no fan with a brain who doesn't still want Erik ten Hag. I mean, that's a little bit patronising from Gary Neville, but yeah, I don't know. So I don't really. But I mean, he's entitled to say what he wants, obviously, but that's not the kind of approach that you know that I have with you lot. If somebody has a differing opinion, I'm always happy to talk about it, to discuss it as a community, and we can kind of have differing opinions, and we can always have a good chat. So I'm not going to sit here and say, if you want Erik ten Hag out, you don't have a brain. I think that's a little bit it's a little bit like I'm better than you. Your opinion doesn't matter, isn't it? So you're not going to get that from me. Let's move on to the next story, though. Let's talk a little bit about this new winger that we are being linked to. Now, in relation to Jadon Sancho, there's a story coming out in the last 20 or so minutes from Sport Bild over in Germany saying that Borussia Dortmund have ruled themselves out of the race to sign Jadon Sancho. They are not interested in re-signing him. So that's a big blow for Jadon, because I think him going to Dortmund would have been a great bit of business for us, because I think he would have gone there. He probably would have performed well, and then maybe we could sell him for something close to what we paid for him in a couple of years, you know, hopefully. If he went there and had a really successful loan season, then maybe next year we could get 40-50 million from him, from somebody. Maybe not. But apparently Dortmund aren't interested at all. So that only really leaves Barcelona at this moment in time. Apparently Barcelona are interested. They're the club leading it at the moment for the signature of Jadon Sancho. And you're probably all sat saying to me, Kieran, what will happen if Jadon Sancho goes? Anthony, God knows what's happened with Anthony. Obviously, Pellistri doesn't seem to ever want to play. He just doesn't ever get picked to play. What are we going to do? Now, apparently the answer, this is what's being said today, is a player called Antonio Nusa. I've never heard of him. He's a Norwegian. He plays his football for Club Bruges, 18 years of age. He moved over from a club in Norway in 2021 for €3 million. Now, he is a winger, as I just said. I don't know a hell of a lot about this player, to be honest. I'm not going to sit here and say that I watch the Belgian league every single day, because I simply don't. I can go through his stats and his characteristics and his attributes really quickly with you guys, because that is quite useful. So last season, he played 34 matches across all competitions, and he got 2 goals. I mean, it's not very good, is it? 2 goals and 2 assists in 34 matches in the Belgian league. That's pretty poor. This season, he has apparently played 11 times across the Belgian league and the Europa Conference League qualifiers. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists. So he's done a little bit better this season. He's got 5 goals and assists in 11 matches. As I said, I've never seen this guy play before. If anybody knows anything about him, do let me know. He plays for Club Bruges. There's 2 or 3 stories this afternoon saying that Manchester United are among the clubs seriously scouting Club Bruges winger Antonio Nusa. Let me know. If anybody knows much about him, please do let me know. I've never heard of him. But you know what? Just because I haven't heard of him, that maybe is a good thing. You know, I can't sit here on the morning show and say, you know, criticising Manchester United for not having the Brighton system where they bring in people we've never heard of and turn them into world-class players, you know? How many of you had heard of Mitoma before he went to Brighton? I would be surprised if there was one person watching the show who knew who Mitoma was. Now, to be very clear, this guy does look like somebody who is a wonder kid for the future. Only just turned 18 years of age. Very, very skillful. Very good with his weak foot as well. He could go on to be a world-class player. So I'm quite open to things like this, you know. Other options would be someone like Serge Gnabry, which I know a lot of you would not want to go anywhere near. Some of you may argue, why would we go for him if we've got people like Pellistri, we've got people like Amad Diallo? It is a little bit strange when you look at it like that, but Erik ten Hag's the manager. If he doesn't like Pellistri, then that's up to him, isn't it? Maybe this Antonio Nusa guy is somebody who could go into the youth academy. I'm not really too sure the ins and outs of that deal. The same journalist is also, this is a different journalist actually this afternoon. 2 top options for the wing position to replace Sancho in January are apparently this person, Antonio Nusa, who we've just spoke about, and also Mitoma from Brighton. Now, I think the Mitoma one is completely loose of the mark. The likelihood of Manchester United signing Mitoma, I think, is 0. So the journalist says Manchester United are planning to sign Serge Gnabry or Mitoma to replace Jadon Sancho. Now, I think that's a load of rubbish, personally. I mean, the guy's got 250,000 followers on Twitter. He obviously knows more than I do about transfer stuff, if I'm being honest, but I just can't see us getting Mitoma from Brighton in January. I mean, how on earth would that happen? Like, how much would they want from him? 80, 100 million? We can't even have the money to buy Amrabat outright. How on earth would we get Mitoma? Let's see what people are saying in the comments section. So says Olsen from Club Bruges is better than Nusa. Yeah. As I said, mate, I've never heard of either of them. So I've heard of Olsen, actually. I've not heard of Nusa. Yeah, so let's move on to the next story, though. Let me know if you think there's any truth in this Mitoma thing. I think it's absolute rubbish. I don't think Manchester United are anywhere near financially in a position to be able to get Matoma. Everybody who's just joined in the last couple of minutes, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. It really helps the channel. Doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. We're on the road to 20k subscribers. We're about 1,000 away from 20k. So we've set a target to hit 20k by the end of September. So please do go and subscribe if you haven't already. We're very close to 19k, and then obviously we'll be homing in on that 20k mark. So big ups to every single one of you. Right, let's talk a little bit about the game tomorrow against Bayern Munich. Now, we have got some injury news for you. Obviously, we brought you the news story earlier on today that there was 4 players who have returned from injury. Those players are Raphael Varane, Mason Mount, Kobbie Mainoo, and Sofian Amrabat. All 4 of them trained today at Carrington, but none of them made the flight to Munich. They're all still not ready to be involved in game time. We are hoping that at least 3 of those 4 players will be available to face Burnley on Saturday, though. Mason Mount, Varane, and Amrabat look set to be available for that game. I think Kobbie Mainoo will be out for a little bit longer, but he is now training. He is playing on the grass with the rest of the team. So that is a massive, massive positive. And you know what? I would throw him straight into the team when he's back to being fit, because he can't be any worse than Scott McTominay. Arguably, he can't be any worse than Casemiro this season. Casemiro's been poor. I would give Kobbie Mainoo some game time. Like, he is the future of Manchester United. Casemiro, how old is he now? 31, 32? Obviously, yes, he's a world-class player. I'm not going to sit here and slag him off. He was vital to our team last season, but he's 31. He's 32 in about 3 months. So he's definitely getting on a little bit. And then you've got Kobbie Mainoo, who is, 18, I think? I would give him game time. Why not? What's there to lose? He's 18 years of age. We're clearly not going to win the Premier League this season. I'd say top 6 is probably a target now. Give Kobbie Mainoo some game time. Maybe play him alongside Casemiro. Scott McTominay shouldn't be anywhere near that starting 11 for me. He's 26, 27. He's not good enough and he needs to go. So for me, that's positive. In relation to the travelling squad for the game tomorrow, we have got confirmation on the travelling squad, which I will read out to you really, really quickly for those of you who are interested. So let's go through that quickly. And then I will bring you the injury news for Bayern Munich as well. So we've got 4 goalkeepers who've gone to Munich, which is ridiculous. Bayinda, Tom Heaton, Onana and Vitek. 4 goalkeepers. And then we've only got 5 defenders. Take in mind that you need 4 players to start the game, and then there's only 1 backup option on the bench. So you've got Lindelof, Martinez, Reguilon, Dalot and Johnny Evans. So our defence is looking very, very weak. For anybody who missed the show earlier on today, Harry Maguire is as well injured now. Another injury. Wan-Bissaka's out for 2 months. Harry Maguire is apparently out injured as well. He picked up an injury today. How long for? We don't know. In relation to midfield, we've got Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen, Casemiro as our midfield options, which is okay, I guess. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then we've got Pellistri, Dan Gore, which is amazing for the youngster, Hannibal, Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho, Amari Forson, again, amazing for a youngster to be getting some experience, going over to Munich for a massive, massive game, and then also Scott McTominay. So we're looking like we've got quite a lot of options going forward, but our defence and midfield does look quite weak. Do let me know what your score predictions are for that game. Somebody says, if I squint, you look like Erik ten Hag. Yeah, cool. Why not? But yeah, so that's where we are in relation to the team that went to Munich. Obviously, we are expecting Erik ten Hag to speak to the press later on today. So I'll try and do a video later. Maybe. I don't know what time it's going to be. So if it's late, I probably won't. But we can obviously talk about and react to Erik ten Hag's press conference at some point tomorrow. If not, but tomorrow's game day. I can't wait for it. And I will be doing a watch along. We will be doing a watch along for the Manchester United Bayern game. So if you are interested in those types of things, we will go live at about 7:30 p.m. UK time ahead of an 8 o'clock kickoff. Let me just double check it's 8 o'clock. I think it's 8 o'clock. It might not be. Let me check before I look like an idiot. Yeah, 8 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. So we will be live for that. So do make sure you come and watch that game with us. So yeah, we've obviously gone through all the injury stuff. Let's crack on with a little bit more news. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter show tonight because I want to compress everything. Just quickly to follow up on that bit about the new winger that Manchester United are interested in. There's a story coming out in the last couple of minutes saying that a Manchester United scout will be in the stands on Thursday to watch Antonio Nusa during Bruges versus Besiktas. Obviously, that's in the Europa Conference League. So Manchester United are seriously really interested in this guy. I'll try and watch a few more videos about him. I'll try and get a bit more of a scout report together for you. Yeah, and we'll see where we go from there. Let's talk a little bit about Bayern Munich though, because obviously I know you guys want to know what their squad is looking like. So we can confirm that Thomas Tuchel will not be on the sidelines for the game tomorrow. He got a red card in the last Champions League game before, obviously, last season. So there'll be no manager on the side for Bayern Munich. It will be the assistant. I would say that gives us an advantage, maybe if only a small one. In relation to their injury news, apparently Joshua Kimmich is a doubt for Bayern Munich, which of course is good for us. Manuel Neuer is obviously out. He broke his leg skiing. Kingsley Coman is out, and Rafael Guerreiro is also out. So they're missing 3 or 4 of their better players. Obviously, they still have a very, very solid team. So I'm not going to, by any means, doubt what Bayern Munich can do, because I know it's going to be our most difficult game of the season, I would probably say. But let me know what your score predictions are for that game. I did do a poll on the community section of the channel earlier on today, and I asked, what do you think the Manchester United result will be against Bayern? 54% of you said that we'll lose, 27% said we'll win, and 19% said we'll draw. So it's not a landslide. It's kind of 50% lose, 50% win or draw. So I think it's okay. Somebody said need the full name of Antonio. So the guy's name is Antonio Nusa, N-U-S-A. So if you want to go and check him out, do some scout reports for yourself. Obviously, that's completely fine. Go and do that. Let's see where we are. I just want to touch on this thing about Harry Kane really quickly. We did do a video about this earlier, but I want to bring it into the show in case you guys missed it. So there was a story coming out from Laurie Whitwell saying that apparently Harry Kane was Erik ten Hag's #1 target this summer. And apparently Joel Glazer and Richard Arnold blocked the move for Harry Kane to Manchester United. Harry Kane wanted the move, but apparently Joel Glazer blocked the move. That was a shock to me. It says, yeah, I was a bit unsure about Harry Kane at the beginning, but I think he would have improved us massively. Although, you know what? When you actually think about it, what's the point in bringing in Harry Kane if your wingers don't cross or pass the ball, right? You could have literally the best goal scorer of all time. I mean, we did, Cristiano Ronaldo. And if the players don't pass the ball to him, then what's the point? It's pointless having them. You may as well play with a false 9 or put Bruno there or put somebody who's, going to link up play. There's literally zero point in having, a poacher, world-class striker in the box if they're not going to even get any, delivery. So, I don't know. Obviously, I am a little bit, I don't know. It's been and gone, isn't it? We've got Rasmus Højlund now. We've just got to get on with it. Yeah, as somebody says, it would have made no difference signing Harry Kane as Rashford doesn't pass the ball. There you go. You could have anybody up there. You could have Harry Kane, Lewandowski, Ronaldo, Haaland. If none of them pass the ball to them, they're not going to score any goals, are they? It's as simple as that. Let's see what else people are saying. Mida says, what if Reguilon or Diogo Dalot get injured in the Bayern game? Who will be the sub? If that happens, I would imagine that Johnny Evans would come on at centre-back and then Lisandro Martinez would have to go in at left or right-back. That's how close we are from that being a reality. I don't know whether Pellistri can play at right back. I know that Sofian Amrabat can apparently play at right back and left back. He hasn't done it a lot, but Erik ten Hag said in a recent press conference that apparently Amrabat is comfortable playing in the left back and right back positions. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that one. Somebody says, what's your thoughts on the Maguire injury being a cover-up? I don't know. I don't know why we do that personally. Like, whatever you think of Harry Maguire, we're going away to one of the most difficult teams in world football, and we've literally got 5 defenders for 4 positions. Like, if Harry Maguire is fit and available, I think they would have taken him. We're taking 4 goalkeepers. 4. You usually take 2, sometimes 3. We're taking 4 goalkeepers. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. So I don't really buy into this whole conspiracy that Harry Maguire is actually okay and that, Erik ten Hag doesn't want to bring him, but secretly, he's injured and he's pretending he's not injured, or all of this stuff. I don't really buy into that personally. I think Erik ten Hag would bring Harry Maguire if he is available. Somebody says Garnacho should be in the first 11 and Bruno in the mid. Yeah, I agree with you. And I did see a story earlier on today. Now, it hasn't been verified. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see what Sancho does. But apparently, there was a story circulating earlier on today saying that apparently Garnacho is set to start the game tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see whether that becomes a reality. I would give Garnacho game time. He has that raw sense to him that just makes him go out and give 110%. So yeah, I would give Garnacho some game time. Maybe put Rashford on the right if you want to have both of them playing. So maybe you do Garnacho on the left, Højlund down the middle, and Marcus Rashford on the right. I would have no issue with that whatsoever. Yeah, I don't want to see Bruno Fernandes in the right wing position. I think that is really, really poor. Yeah, I think it's poor. Let's see what people are saying. Simon says apparently Maguire stormed out of Old Trafford on Saturday. Again, I don't know if that's been confirmed. I haven't seen anything about that, but maybe you're right. Yeah, Carl says, why are we bringing 4 goalkeepers? I know, it's an absolute joke, isn't it? You'd think they just bring some youth players. 4 goalkeepers. Like, what is the point in that? Absolute joke. Simon says Garnacho on the right, Rashford on the left, and Højlund down the middle. Yeah, I would be into that. I'd be really, really excited if Garnacho starts that game. And you know what? Anything can happen in you know, these big European nights. So I'm staying positive. I'm not in the mindset that we're going to go there and get absolutely battered. I think anything can happen on these big days. And you never know. Maybe this is the game that kickstarts our season. Maybe this is the Liverpool at home game where we beat them last season that kickstarted our season. Remember, we were absolutely awful for the first 3 games, was it? And then we had Liverpool come to Old Trafford and everyone was like, we're going to get absolutely battered, and we beat them. And then after that, we went on a bit of a run. So let's stay positive. Hopefully we can go and beat Bayern Munich. I don't think we will, but let's hope we can. You know, anything can happen in football. Let's see what people are saying. Somebody says, this is not good. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Irvin says, will Onana play at centre-back if needed? Otherwise, I can't see why we have 4 goalkeepers. I mean, maybe. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but Onana at centre-back? If it came down to that, I probably would rather him than Harry Maguire. No, I'm joking. That's harsh. Me saying that I'd rather Onana at centre-back than Harry Maguire. Obviously, it's a bit of a laugh, but I'm sure some of you in the comments section would prefer seeing Onana play at centre-back than Harry Maguire. I'm not going to go as far as that, but Simon says Burnley is much more important, IMO. Yeah, we 100% need to go and beat Burnley on Saturday. And the fact that Varane, Mason Mount, Amrabat and potentially Kobe Mainoo are going to be available for that game, that is a massive, massive boost for Manchester United. So I'm really happy about that. Most people in the chat are saying, yeah, that the Burnley game is more important. I mean, if we're going to be realistic about this, we're not going to win the Champions League. So yeah, I get it is. The only thing I will say though is, right, I mean, let me ask you this question actually before I give my opinion. Would you rather Manchester United finish 3rd in the Champions League group and drop down to the Europa League? Or would you rather we finish 2nd and go into the knockout stages of the Champions League? Let me know your thoughts. Now, you're probably all thinking, what the hell is this guy talking about? But if you think about it realistically, we have way more of a likely chance of winning the Europa League as we do to win the Champions League, don't we? I would say that if we went into the Europa League now, after getting knocked out of the Champions League, I would say that we'd be one of the favourites to win it. So answer me that. Would you rather go through to the next round of the Champions League knowing that we're not going to beat Man City, we're not going to beat Real Madrid, we're not going to beat Barcelona probably, we're not going to beat PSG probably, etc. Like, I know that's maybe negative, but it's realistic. Would you rather go through to the next round of the Champions League and then get knocked out in that round, or would you rather drop down to the Europa and genuinely have a chance of winning it? Let me know what your thoughts are. I haven't really made up my mind yet. I haven't. I mean, who's actually in the Europa League? Obviously, it's West Ham, isn't it? From England. Europa League fixtures. I mean, I'd rather win a trophy. Liverpool are in it. I mean, that's obviously difficult, isn't it? So I guess Liverpool are the favourites, aren't they? West Ham, Liverpool, West Ham, and then whoever drops out of the Champions League. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what people are saying. Simon says United versus Liverpool final in Dublin. Kevin says, I don't want Thursday football. Daz says we're better off out of Europe altogether. Yeah. Most people saying I don't want Thursday night football. Yeah, I hear you. Trevor says Altay Bayindir should be tomorrow's goalkeeper for Manchester United. I mean, that's an interesting take. I don't think it will happen, but I don't disagree with you. I think, you know, we've just signed this goalkeeper who a lot of you have said is decent, this Bayindir guy. Give him a chance. Why not? I don't think Onana's been particularly great so far. I don't think he's been rubbish, but he's been pretty average, hasn't he? His shot stopping's nowhere near the level of David De Gea. His distribution, yes, he looks good on the ball, but I wouldn't say he's like completely transformed how we play. Yes, it's been 5 games, so I'm not going to sit here and say what a terrible signing. You know, I'm going to give him a couple of seasons and see if our style of play does transform. And if we do turn into this passing out from the back style team, which I'm sure we will, and I have faith in them. But yeah, let's see. Carlos says, I would rather get knocked out of the Champions League. Simon says, we aren't ready for the Champions League. Yes, I agree with you. Somebody says, I'd rather drop down to the Europa. Somebody says, would be nice to drop out of the Champions League. It hurts the Glazers in the pocket. Yeah, that's very fair. And Marshallo says, why doesn't Erik ten Hag play Pellistri? Do you know he even changes the formation before playing him? I don't know. I don't know why Erik ten Hag doesn't like Pellistri. He doesn't seem to ever want to play him, does he? He gets 10 minutes here and there. He seems to be a fan favourite, but Erik ten Hag is the manager and we have to trust him. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Obviously, we will be back live at 8 AM UK time for your morning show. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. As I said, we're on the road to 20k subscribers and we've set a target to achieve that by the end of September. So do subscribe, do get involved in the community. Thank you so much to everyone who has watched the show this evening. I hope you have a nice evening, a nice day, a nice morning, wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you all a little bit later.